Thank you for staying on the program. I am Bernice Abubedulansa. The details now. Today, the tenure of IGP James Oppong comes to an end. On Monday, 22nd July 2019, President Akufo-Addo directed then Inspector General of Police David Asante-Apietu to proceed on leave with immediate effect pending his retirement from the Ghana Police Service on Wednesday, August 14, 2009. He then asked the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mr. James Oppong, to act as IGP. And October 9, 2019, he was confirmed as the substantive IGP and given a 2-year extension of service. Well, we know that that has come to an end. NCOP Dampare is acting IGP now, but former senior police officer and executive secretary to the IGP, who is currently the MP for Wa West, Peter Tobu, joins me to discuss the legacy of Mr. Oppong. Thank you so much for making time to join the program. I'm grateful to have you here. Now, let's talk about the man, James Oppong. He's been applauded for many things, especially by officers in the service. They talk about his passion for improving the welfare of police officers. Tell us more about his legacy.
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to our cherished viewers. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. Good morning to our cherished viewers. And then very quickly, I want to salute the outgoing Inspector General of Police, Mr. James Oppong. And I want to salute the incoming Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu Dampare, and all men and women in uniform who have laid down their lives for the peace and security of this country. Legacies are very important when it comes to leadership. I'm very sure that as Mr. Oppong is being pulled out today, he will begin to think about what am I leaving behind? What will I be remembered for? But it is not for him to say. It's for those of us who he served, who will remember him for what he did, the bad, the good, and the ugly. Let me categorize this into 3 sections: administration, operations, and others. Administratively, Mr. Oppong, many of the police officers will tell you he was a solid material. What he did in the area of welfare is fantastic. I've been told reliably that his human relation was so wonderful, and his interest to see the welfare of the personnel improve was fantastic. It was so interesting to find him at the funerals of even family members of police other rank. A sergeant loses a sister, and Mr. James Oppong will be at the funeral himself. It was quite motivational. When you talk about promotions, I think that he's done well. He's done well because Mr. David Asante-Apietu came and cleared all the backlog. And what we intended to do was to be able to sustain it so that we don't have a backlog anymore. He sustained that principle, and gradually, what he has also done that is good is the fact that the system is changing, and there are a lot of people with higher certificates who have gotten into the system even at the lower level. And we had a challenge trying to fine-tune this, mainstreaming this new challenge into a system that would improve going forward. What he did was to bring what we call amnesty. All the people who have had higher certificates and they were other ranks, they've been promoted. And there is a lot of excitement. On the other hand, the excitement had also created some bit of tension in the service because many people who have served for so long think that if we are just going to be academic in the police organization that requires some skill set, then those of them who have the skill set and are willing to work, they will just withdraw and watch the academics to come and do the work. So we need a balance in that matter. And I think personally, what I personally wanted him to do was to bring the amnesty and be able to institutionalize some level of measures to be able to sustain that. But as we are now, it's just not sustainable. It is a one-stop action. Amnesty people are promoted, but any group of people who think that they should also be promoted based on the quality of work that they are doing, they feel a bit embittered. Recruitment under Mr. Oppong, I think that it's not been the best. Since 2017 that we had an advert to do recruitment into the Ghana Police Service, we have not seen any advert anywhere again. But all the time we are hearing people graduating from the police training schools. And I think that's a big challenge, and Parliament is even calling for some kind of investigation into the recruitment from 2017 to date. That motion is still pending in Parliament. If I want to go to operations, in fact, the police exists basically on the purpose to manage crime, prevent and manage crime. So police operations is actually what we use to assess Inspector Generals of Police. Your legacy will be assessed based on your performance on the crime front. On the crime front, all of us do know that it's not the best. David Asante-Pietu, the former IGP, agreed that the police system has grown old and required some holistic transformation. So he brought in the police transformation agenda, looking at artificial intelligence as the way to go, because police is driven by intelligence. So if your intel wing is strong, police operations can be very proactive. Unfortunately, we are not seeing the way clear. And violent crime is gradually taking over the country. Court cases are rising. There are a lot of high-profile cases that are still pending investigation, and I think that that is not good enough. So in the operation front, he has a huge minus. Finally, others I'm talking about, what is it that we require to function effectively as a police organization? Logistics. You find the officer on the street, you find the constable, you find the sergeant on the street, and he says, for the past 2 years now, I have not even gotten police boot. I don't have uniform. I have to go and buy my uniform myself. And I think that that is a minus. We are talking about logistics again. What the government supplied somewhere 2017, 2018, basically that is it. There is no improvement. And it is sad to realize that even as we speak now, the 2021 budget, I said it before, 97% of that budget from government goes straight into compensation. It was just 3% that was left for goods and services. And we're waiting for an improvement. We're waiting for an improvement in the mid-year budget review.
All right.
Unfortunately, in the mid-year budget review, there is nothing new.
So, Mr. Tobu, so that brings me to a point I wanted to raise. I'll allow you to continue on the bit of operation and others. So, I mean, every Inspector General of Police works with a government in office. So when it comes to the issue of providing for the police officers, like you mentioned, uniforms and other things needed for their operations, would you solely put the blame at the feet of the IGP?
That is what we talk about leadership. You know, everything rise and falls with leadership. It is possible government may not have the muscle, or probably government may not have the will to want to provide what is required, but the leadership of the Inspector General of Police can push government to the limit, and government will do it. You know, we are competing for the scarce resources in the system. And in that competition, you need a skill set to be able to convince government to take a second look at your situation. Basically, when government is making it clear all the time that the security and the protection of the Ghanaian citizen is paramount to the economic transformation. So I'm sure that if we have put ourselves together and make a better presentation on the need for government to put money where the mouth is, you don't make a statement and don't fulfill it by supporting. If you want to ensure that the security of the Ghanaian is paramount in your dealings, then the security of Ghanaian needs to be paramount if you have to put the money there for the police to be more effective. Security is changing all around the world, and in fact, internal security and migration is becoming the new challenge.
Hello, Mr. Tobu.
Combat is no longer the problem. External aggressors are no longer the problem. But we are looking at... Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, your line was breaking a bit. I was going to say then that if you would, based on the argument you raised earlier in terms of the leadership of the IGP and pushing the government of the day to meet the needs and demands of the service, will you then give him credit for some of the other things that we saw during his tenure, like government procuring vehicles for the police service? We saw a lot of that happening. Would you give IGP James Oppong the credit for that then?
Oh, exactly. That is what I'm saying. Whatever he succeeded in pushing government to do, that would be a credit. But I think that some vehicles were supplied in 2018 and a few more. But you see, that is not actually the point. The point is that you push government to supply what is required. Government can actually come and give you vehicles. But is that a priority? And if that is even the priority, is that the kind of vehicle that you really need? So all these things are challenges that an Inspector General of Police will have to push government to understand. Yes, I need vehicles. Yes, I need logistics. But I don't need the kind of vehicle that you think that you want to give to me. I need a vehicle that can withstand the rigors of the terrain. I need a vehicle that can go to Bolga and go to Nabrongo and come back to Wa and still remain relevant after 4 years. That is the kind of a vehicle I need to be able to fight crime. But, you know, all these things, as we talk about, Mr. James Oppong, today is 31st of July. Today is 30th of July 2021. He's come to an end. His tenure has come to an end. He's handing over. He'll be remembered for many of the things that he did good, and he'll be remembered very well for many of the things that we think that he should have done that he has failed to do.
And what are those things that you think he should have done but failed to do?
The major objective of the existence of the police service or any police organization is to manage crime. So in the area of crime management, I think that all of us as a country agrees that there is a huge gap, and we expected to see better performance than that. But we do pray that going forward, the new Inspector General of Police will learn from the failures of Mr. Oppong and do better.
And that has pushed me to the next dimension of the conversation. In your submission, you mentioned what the predecessor of Mr. Oppong, that's David Asante Apietu, did, that you thought should have continued. Which of the legacies of IGP James Oppong do you think should not be left hanging but continued by COP Dampare, who's the incoming IGP?
Unfortunately, I have not seen any policy statement from the outgoing IGP that will require me to demand that the incoming Inspector General of Police continues. But I think that the particular practice that is put in place that I will want Dr. Dampare to continue, and he has a skill. He has what it takes to do that anyway. The human skill, the fact that he loves the police officer, the fact that he's so much interested in the welfare of the police officer. The officer on the ground requires some attention to be able to be effective. And I want to pray that the incoming Inspector General of Police will come with his human skill to be able to continue to propel that angle of the police, the welfare of the police officer, so that at least when that morale in the police is risen through the fact that we're taking good care of them, I'm sure that it will translate positively to the fight against crime.
Finally, Mr. Tobul, so the police uses this term, a pull-out ceremony, but for us who are ordinary citizens, we understand it to be a retirement. Tell us what exactly will happen at this ceremony, which will signify the end of service of IGP James Oppong.
Thank you very much. Pull-outs are basically a military arrangement that will allow the outgoing officer to be taken out of the organization, signifying the end of his service in that organization. So the police borrowed the phrase from the military, and we are using it for our chiefs of police. So today, Mr. James Oppong comes to the end of his tenure, many years, over 30 years of service for the Ghana Police Service. So he's going to be pulled out of the service into another life that we do not know what it is, but we are saying that for the Ghana Police Service, your end has come, and we need to apply a bit of force to pull you out, because we still know that your heart is in there, you desire to stay by the time for you to go. So we will pull you out so that we can have space to put another person there for the organization to continue to function.
And so will anything be done to signify that pull out? Because I know with military and police officers, you do a lot of symbolic things.
Oh yes, there is a huge parade going on at the Ghana Police, National Police Training School. And I mean, a lot of people are invited. I'm sure he will be making his last speech as a police officer. And I'm sure that the incoming Inspector General of Police might have an opportunity to wish him well. So a few speeches here and there, then I will have some small chops, and then to just smile around ourselves and say, well done, brother, well done, big brother, you've done well. We wish you well, we'll learn from your mistakes, and we pray that the Ghana Police Service will become better than you left it.
I appreciate your time this morning. Peter Tobu is a former senior police officer.
My pleasure.
And former executive secretary to the IGP, sharing his thoughts there with us. He currently is the MP for Wild West, and having worked with Mr. Oppong, he's told us what he believes his legacy is on administration. He spoke about the fact that he had a good relationship with police officers, but spoke about the bit of the downside when it came to operations. So, like you mentioned, at the National Police Training School at Tesano at 10:30, that pull-out ceremony will be happening, and we'll be bringing you that on our subsequent bulletins. Now, female police officers are asking government to do more for them to be able to rise through the ranks of the service. Currently, only 1.1% of women represent commanding positions in the police service. Speaking at a conference, Director General of Welfare, COP Mami Adodankwa, presented a petition to the Deputy Minister of Interior to urge government to help increase the number of women in high positions in the police service.
Honorable, what we are asking, we are not asking too much. At least look at our percentage and pro rata, so that whilst we have 24% who are qualified to head those districts and other things, we are not asking you to go beyond that. We are asking and pleading that you consider women for command position. The United Nations is advising that the gender parity in every country should be 40%, that we have men 60 and the women 40. Currently, we are 28%. The last passing out of the recruits, the women were 34%. We are very grateful to the government for considering women. This is the highest number of women who have passed out since 1952. And we have started, we are making conscious effort for the women to work hard to justify our inclusion into the Ghana Police Service. So, Honorable, we are capable. All the women who are holding positions are doing extremely well. And I think if we increase the number, it can make a whole lot of difference. We are here so that you can influence policy for the women to be given the chance to contribute our quota to the development and then the security management of the country.
Well, the Deputy Minister of Interior, Nana Kwanzaa, assured the Ghana Police Association or Police Women Association that she'll ensure change in the police service.
I want to assure you that we are going to work together. And anything that we have to do, the Chief Director too is a woman, so we are going to work together, that anything the police women needs, we are going to have it, even if not to up to 40%. I think like 38, 37, we are going to try our best that they will understand us, that they should allow us to come out, because anytime the women will be dormant, you can't hear of us. We will be doing our best, but still, they don't let us shine. They have to allow us to shine too. Because if you can have a woman as a president, why can't we have women as commanders, district chief, district commanders, and regional commanders? It will be possible, I know. And I know the minister will understand us and help us to get our positions in the police, not even in the police alone, all the security sectors. The women have to come out.
Let's stay a while on women. Tomorrow, Saturday, July 31, is Pan-African Women's Day. It's set aside to honor and celebrate not only remarkable achievements of African women, but also to advocate gender equality in Africa. It is also a day for women in Africa to reaffirm their commitment to Pan-Africanism and gender equality. This year's commemoration is under the theme, African Women in Arts, Culture and Heritage. Let's get more on this celebration. Joining me via Zoom for a conversation is the director of WILDAF Ghana, Melody Dake. Thank you so much for joining the program. And it's a very exciting conversation to have with you, also considering the story we just heard before. Let's talk about the significance of this day for us as African women.
Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers, and thank you for having me on your show. Pan-African Women's Day is a day set aside by the African Union to recognize the contributions of African women to the African society, and also to draw attention to the issues of gender equality and women's empowerment. As you know, African women contribute so much in diverse ways to African economies and to other areas. However, these contributions receive limited recognition and attention. So to set aside a day to recognize that, I think that it's important. And it's also good that we give visibility to this day so that we can appreciate how much women in Africa contribute to the development of the continent.
Great. So what are we doing here in Ghana, particularly to commemorate the day?
Whereas I cannot speak for others or for the state, I do believe that they will have, or they have their events or activities lined up to commemorate the day. For us within the women's rights space, being on your show, me being on your show this morning and speaking with you on the subject is one of the ways that we are commemorating this day. We are trying to give some visibility to this day and to draw attention to what it means for us here in Ghana and also in Africa. I do believe we have other activities lined up. We're also looking at creating awareness within the social media space, again, to give some visibility to the day.
And so, women in art, culture, and heritage. It's quite an interesting, topic, if you may, because usually women in arts, especially when it comes to the creatives, are usually branded in a certain way and usually not seen in positive light in terms of their contribution to women's development. How do you think that this subject helps to promote them in a positive sense and also generally bring a certain feel or likingness to women on the continent?
What I'll say to that is that I think that for the African Union to recognize the contribution of the arts and culture to our development, it means that we all do appreciate what goes on in terms of persons and women who are into the arts and who work around the issues of culture and heritage. I think that what people don't agree with is when we use such mediums to objectify women, for instance. But at the end of the day, when you read the theme in all of its context completely, you do realize that the end goal is to ensure that persons or the contributions in the arts and culture space end up, contributing to the social and economic development on Africa. So the end goal is economic development.
Talking about economic development, we have heard within our space discussions about women in entertainment and how many of them are exploited. Sometimes it becomes more of a man's world. It's difficult for women to thrive. It's difficult for them to manage the other demands of being a woman and surviving in an industry like that. As we commemorate women in arts, culture, and heritage tomorrow, what would you like to see differently being done for women in these sectors?
I think that I will look at it generally in terms of women having access to and control over resources. So it could be resources within the arts and culture space. It could be access to resources in other areas, such as productive resources, access to capital, access to credit, technology, skills, training and apprenticeship, access to participation in the labor market and entrepreneurship opportunities and public services within those spaces. I think that a lot of things are being done, but more can be done. You look at the consortium on whose behalf I'm speaking, for example, some of the things that we are doing under an initiative that we have recently started. It is not within the arts and culture space, but I think that it is also important. It is within the cocoa and the share value chains where we are trying to use things like legal literacy to reduce legal barriers that fetters women's access to and control over resources within those spaces, contributing to law and policy reform. Again, on access to and control over resources and economic empowerment generally. And so I think that these kinds of initiatives can be replicated within the arts and culture space. I think that, again, within that space, we can look at engaging families and communities to redistribute unpaid care work at home so that we can free time for women and girls to embark on productive and economically empowering ventures, such as in the art space, and also in other areas such as agriculture and trade, among other things.
All right.
So these are some of the things that we, are working on in our current initiative, which we have aptly named Women's Economic Advancement for Collective Transformation. And it's a collective effort by a number of organizations such as World of Ghana, Oxfam in Ghana, Oxfam in Quebec, Share Network, Tunteya Women's Association, Send Ghana, Viamo Technologies, NORSAC, and Friends of the Nations.
Okay.
So I think that.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. That's Director of World of Ghana, Melody Dake. That's all time will allow us. But we really appreciate and enjoyed your conversation. And to you and all the workers at World of, thank you for doing this for women. Now, it's a boy's wish, and the race by companies to make it memorable for him is getting intense. And the Class 3 pupil, Oswald, wrote a passionate Our Day List letter to his mom. He did not know that it will go viral on social media, on Twitter, and trigger an endless list of donations on the last day of school before recess. And here in Ghana, we call it Our Day. Maxwell Agbagba is live in the school. He'll be joining us shortly. But first, let me bring you details of that letter Oswald wrote to his mom, which went viral on Twitter. Now, I just love the first sentence on that note. He says, read every tiny note, and it's dated 29th July 2001. Things to bring on our day. Big cake from Mrs. Apia, who's been trending. Dole, please bring my iPad to control. Note, Mrs. Apia said that I can bring my iPad. Please don't disappoint me. Take note of that expression. Please don't disappoint me. Number 4, a pack of biscuits and drinks. 5, white chocolate or Easter eggs. 6, serious drink, size, big example, and he draws it. 7, what to bring for school breakfast. Eating breakfast time 9 to 9:30. Eating lunch time 12 to 12:30. Biscuits, soda biscuits, Pringles, size medium, drinks, small Fanta, small Sprite, and he says choose any of them. Don't buy both, referring to the small Fanta and a small Sprite. And the end note says, Mommy, please, I am begging you, don't disappoint me on our day. It's my day on Friday, so please don't disappoint me. Otherwise, you will ruin my day. Thank you. And there's a little part at the bottom which says, I didn't disappoint you in the exams, so please don't disappoint me. And see, there are 4 don't disappoint me in that letter written by Oswald to his mom. So Oswald is trending number 2 on Twitter. His class teacher, Mrs. Apia, who he requested a cake for, is also in the trends. Maxwell Agbagba, he joins us from the school. Hello, Maxwell. Tell us what you can report. I can imagine really exciting for Oswald and his mates.
Exactly. I'm really excited also for everyone here at Oswald School. A flood of donations pouring in. In fact, just some seconds ago, I had the mom asking me when this is going to be over because she's already tired. It's excitement for everyone here at Oswald School. And because of the mask also, I can hug you also because of COVID. Tell me, what motivated you, Oswald, to write that letter to Mommy? Tell us.
First, I wanted her to really, really buy it so that she will not forget. Because Mommy, Because usually when I tell her to buy something, she forgets.
Oh, okay. So that is why you gave her a list.
Yes.
Wow. In there also you added that your iPad should be brought to school because you want to take pictures and all of that with it. Do you have your iPad with you now?
No, it's in the classroom.
Oh, it's in the classroom. A lot of people are quite surprised about how you were specific with the things that you wrote.
Yes.
Tell us, why were you so specific?
Because I wanted her to buy the real size I wanted. Because some of them, I cannot finish them all.
Oh, okay. So you can't take 1 liter, so you wanted a small bottle.
Yes.
Now, one lesson that you've taught a lot of Ghanaians as well with your letter is selflessness. How not to be selfish. The first person who came on your list was your class teacher, Mrs. Apia. Tell us, why Mrs. Apia?
Because she treats me well.
Okay.
She treats me like my mother.
Oh, she treats you like your mother.
Yes.
When you were writing that letter, did it occur to you that this letter was going to go viral?
No.
It didn't occur to you?
Yes.
You thought you were just writing a letter to mommy?
Yes.
What motivated you to do that?
First, when I watch cartoons, I see that people write.
Be interested. Also, I'll definitely come back to you. But let's speak to mommy and then I'll come to Mrs. Apia. Mommy, you're welcome to JoyNews.
Thank you.
Tell us, how did this start? We hear that there was a colleague of yours in the office who posted the letter on Twitter. Did you expect it to go viral?
No, not at all. We didn't expect this. My colleague himself is very, very amazed at the pouring of donations and everything that is happening right now. We are grateful for everything that is happening, but we didn't expect this at all. This started as a normal office conversation. I mean, chit-chat in the office, and then he took a picture. His idea was the black
in his hands. So you shouldn't disappoint him today. What did you tell him to do in the exams?
His dad told him that he did well in the previous one, so if he could do better with this one, there'll be a surprise for him.
Okay.
So, and we usually tell him that if he does this, we'll get him this, that we are on those terms with him. So, I mean, when he did well, then we are compelled to give our part.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go to Mrs. Apia. Mrs. Apia. Now, you've seen the outpour of donations and all of that here. Tell us how you feeling?
Anyway, I'm so excited. I'm happy that this is happening.
For a class teacher, I mean, usually, for some people, they really do not have good memories of their teachers, back in school. What is special with you, Mrs. Apia? You are trending on Twitter. What is special? What kind of treatment do you give to Oswald? He says you treat him like his mom.
Yes. I love everyone. I treat everyone as my own. In fact, I always let them know that they are my children. So when mommy is not around, Mrs. Apia is around. When mommy goes to work, Mrs. Apia is there for them. So I treat them as such.
So for your colleague teachers out there, what would you want to tell them?
I will encourage them to do the work very well. In fact, when you teach and you impart good knowledge onto the children, you'll be blessed as well. They should work with all their hearts. They should do everything as they are working as unto God. And with that, they will get their blessings.
Now, even as I speak now, there are still donations coming through for Oswald and then Mrs. Apia. Now, let me find out from them.
All right.
We've seen the promises on social media,
yes.
And a lot of you companies are living up to that promise. You're fulfilling that promise.
Correct.
How did you see this, and what motivated you to do this for our young friend?
Oswald's dream is every child's dream.
Okay.
And seeing our name on the list meant a lot to us as a company.
Okay.
As a result, we wanted to be part of this day and to make it very memorable for him, and especially Mrs. Apia for the good job she's doing with his kids. All of us have been children before.
Yeah.
We cannot let this slide. So we want to be part of this. And indeed, as he mentioned, Dole yogurt is the most nutritious and potassium-filled and zinc-filled yogurt in the country. And we want to make sure that on this special day, we come and celebrate with them, with his good performance, as he told the mom at the footnote, that he has performed well in the exams. They shouldn't pass by. So Dole yogurt is here to show Oswald and Mrs. Apia the best of love, and to extend to all other staff members and people in this school as well.
Okay. Then as you would imagine, there are many of these donations coming through. In fact, there's a box over there. I mean, I can't go through the list. It's endless.
When I watch movies, I see other people acting. And I wanted to try it and see if it was nice.
Oh, okay. So you want to be an actor?
Yes.
Wow. I pray that it materializes. And very soon, we're going to see you on our screens very soon. It has started already. In fact, it starts today, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so just work hard towards it, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, so Dennis, that's it from Oswald School. Still the donations are coming through, and definitely we're going to be here to make sure that we got it all, covered for you here on Joy News and then also on Joy FM. Mommy, you want to have the last word?
Yes.
I want to say a very big thank you to everyone, especially the management of the school. They've been so helpful. They've had crunch.
World, you should be my class teacher. What's the last thing you want to say?
I want to say a very big thank you to everybody. And then I want to tell my teachers they should also work hard. And to my proprietors and the management, I say a very big thank you for even employing me here in their school as a teacher. God richly bless everyone.
Okay. Thank you so much for talking to us. Okay. Thank you so much to Oswald for your time. And once again, all the best, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you just heard from, thank you also. Okay, great. So you just heard from Oswald. Okay. Looks like something big is going to happen here today. But our authorities here in this school are making sure that this is COVID compliant. So what is happening is that they are not allowing people from outside to come to the school. In fact, for the children in the classroom, they are not allowing them to come outside. So you can see they want this to be COVID compliant. But as you can tell, okay.
Isn't that lovely? Doesn't that make you miss being in basic school where you get to celebrate our day? Wonderful children. Then obviously Mrs. Apia is the woman of the day. She appeared. The first request on Oswald's list was a big cake for Mrs. Apia. Quite a boy. He knows what he wants, trust me. Very specific. And we wish him all the best. And thank you all who donated making this boy's wish come true. You're watching News Desk with me, Bernice Abubedu-Lansa. Coming up shortly in business, the Chartered Institute of Credit Management is urging banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions to embrace the principle. Thank you for staying on News Desk. Time now for business news. The Chartered Institute of Credit Management is urging banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions to embrace the principles and practice of credit management in the country in order to reduce credit risk issues and non-performing loans within the banking space. In line with its mission to deepen the interest of credit profession and address risk-related issues, the Institute has initiated an award scheme to reward and honor banks and other financial institutions that have achieved outstanding success in credit risk. There's more in the following report.
The annual Ghana Credit Excellence Awards will play a catalytic role in shaping and growing businesses in areas such as trade finance, non-trade finance, and export finance. Chairman of the awards planning committee, Dr. Kujo Awudu, said the award will assess the performance of 36 financial institutions, including 12 banks. The committee will undertake Debt collection firm The annual Ghana Credit Excellence Awards will play a catalytic role in shaping and growing businesses in areas such as trade finance, non-trade finance, and export finance. Chairman of the Awards Planning Committee, Dr. Kujo Awudu, said the award will assess the performance of 36 financial institutions, including 12 banks. The committee will undertake surveys
duly licensed by the Bank of Ghana. I repeat, duly licensed by Bank of Ghana. Additionally, 3 credit reference bureaus, 3 debt collection agencies, 3 mobile communication companies will be as well.
That'll be all for business news here on News Desk. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Tokyo Olympics and bring you some updates on Team Ghana's performance to stay. It's time now for sports, and you're talking about the Tokyo Olympics and Team Ghana's performance. Quickly, we're expecting Nadia to participate in the triple jump. We are yet to see her.
Yeah, she's currently in a queue.
Okay.
We made to understand that she's in a queue and she'll be getting ready to jump any moment from now. So we'll have details of the performance she'll put out at midday. But overall, I think Team Ghana hasn't been bad as many of us expected them to because of the poor preparations they've had. 2 boxers have made it to the quarterfinal. Unfortunately, one missed out. Then there was Abeku yesterday who made good enough for her to also qualify to the next stage of the competition.
But the good thing to say about Abeku is that even though he didn't qualify to the semis, he still set a national record. And I think that we have to say that because then there's some form of improvement.
Since 2014, he's been Ghana's best swimmer. That was how he was able to qualify for the Olympic Games 2016 in Rio. And this year, he's been able to do it again, setting a new national time record of 53.74 seconds.
Kudos to Team Ghana. We wish Nadia all the best, guys. We've got you. We've got your back. Keep pushing, and you definitely realize your dreams. That's how we end this edition of News Desk. I really appreciate your company. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. See that story, things to buy for our day, how a pupil's petition to his mother became a national emergency. Do stay. JoyNews Interactive with Mapito Sibiri is up next. Thanks for your company once again.